Oh, there we go. My microphone wasn't connected or something. Hello. Super excited to play this game today. And when we finish up, we're going to play some Mortal Kombat 9 story mode that we were already playing. But I just so happened to get some beta access. So I was like, let me hop on the live really quick. So we're here. Miko, thank you so much for 13 months, 1 year and 1 month. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome in, Spooky Flower, Kitten, Alan. Thank you all so much for coming. Should we dive right in here? Oh, anybody watch wrestling? We just had a pay-per-view. It was super early today, which was really convenient, honestly. I love the early pay-per-views. I'm like, let's get it together. When I go to Australia, apparently Money in the Bank is gonna be at 3 in the morning. Not thrilled about that. There's something in this. Get out. Oh yeah. I know it was early because of that, which I was like grateful for because I was like, work. I didn't see the ending. What happened? I was at the beach and I walked home from the beach. Oh. I know, crazy. Honestly, I'm gonna be very real. I think they booked it because it is the Saudi show because they have that deal with them. Like, I think she didn't win at Mania because like, they have to like, it's probably in the contract for the Saudi show. Like, oh, big changes have to happen or something. Oh! Damn. I missed it. I was just talking last night. I'm like, who's gonna be the one to like take out Roman? And it's probably gonna be his familia. Caitlin, hi. Her reign was 420 days exactly. Is that it? That's so funny. Not that it's like funny that she lost, like funny that it's 420 days, because I am sad that she's not the champion anymore. It's gonna be so weird to see her without the title. 69 seconds too? Oh, the memes are memeing. Hi, Persona. Okay, I'm gonna start up the Texas Chainsaw game so we can explore the lobby, explore the menus and everything. So let's do that. I'm gonna mute my desktop audio because it's the first time startup. If you see me lag, that's why I'm starting it up for the very, very, very first time. So like fully not sponsored, not anything. You're seeing this like raw, uncut footage. So if I lag for 2 seconds, just give me, it'll be up and it'll be 2 minutes. I love the way you styled your hair. Thank you. I was like testing my hair. I was like, it's super curly. I like the little curl. Oh, shit. This is literally happening my first time startup. I am not reading all that. Love you guys, but I am not. I know, I'm so happy Seth won. I was nervous for a second because it was like, there were news articles that were like, major star is gonna leave pay-per-view super quick. And everybody was like, oh, Seth is losing. And I was like, no, that can't happen. No. That title was made for him. Like, literally made for him. Oh my god, the Undertaker match with Goldberg was so bad. I'll never forget seeing that for the first time. Girl, calm down. Why can I not adjust the settings? Oh my god, please. Are there no settings? I didn't want to find a match. Stop! Oh my god! Jesus. Alright, I gotta start up big picture mode. See if I can use a controller. I have nails on. I doubt it, but we'll try. Yes! The controller works. We won. Right, turn this down. You are very loud. Still very loud. All right, that should be good. Very happy I got the controller to work. Perfect. Alrighty. So we're doing this. This is the tech test. This ends on the 28th, which is tomorrow. So thank goodness we got into this, so we can at least give it a little testaroony, which is exciting. Hi, Bev. Love you so much. Excited to hang and do stuff in my Australia visit. Bev, would you say it's worth to go to the theme parks? I'm like scared to book the flights because they're a bit pricey and everything's a bit pricey. I love theme parks. I'm a little scared. I looked at the website and like half of them are down. I was like... Also, the Scooby-Doo ride, you know the one I want to go on, the Scooby-Doo Boots one. Like, I want to go on that so bad, and it's closed down until 2025. I said, excuse the fuck out of me. You're going to open that ride for me to go on. Do you know who I am? I was so mad. I was like, I want to go on that so bad. And then I looked it up, and everybody was like, there's Tower of Terror 2, and it got shut down in 2019. I'm like... what the fuck? Also, this is the bathing suit I would wear if we go to the water parks. Even though it's gonna be kind of cold, but... I think I'm gonna make myself a little larger. That's good. Alrighty. I literally have no idea what to do. Should we do, let's do a tutorial, because bitch, I have no idea. Oh, we don't even get to... You're part of the family now. It's up to you to secure the property and stop the victims from escaping. The family's way of life depends on it. Keep all doors locked. Make sure all exits are closed, trapped, and guarded. Make sure to monitor crucial pieces of equipment like generators and fuse boxes and water valve pumps. The status of these items play a huge role in whether the victims can make an easy path to the escape. Make sure to collect blood from drainage buckets scattered around the map by attacking victims directly. Feed this newly acquired blood to Grandpa to make him stronger. Oh. The stronger he is, the more powerful he is, and soon the sonar abilities will become. Pretty sure he will be highlighting victims for the whole family to use. Oh, wow. So he's like a beacon. Feed Grandpa enough and he will give the whole family new abilities that can be used for the rest of the match. Jesus. Remember, Grandpa is the best killer there ever was. Hunt down victims using your abilities and teamwork. Look for signs of movement and listen to noise. Pay attention to your surroundings and keep an eye and your ears open. You'll never know when you'll see the victims hiding. Speaking of abilities, each family member has a unique ability that can be used to hunt and track down the victims. Careful though, some abilities have limited quantities and others have cooldowns, so hunt wisely. Once you locate a victim, make sure you have a plan. Try to set up ambushes to catch them off guard. A direct approach isn't always the best, so use your family members when possible. But once the plan unfolds, you get within range, hit him and hit him again. Oh wow. And remember, if you manage to successfully hit and execute a victim, take that blood to Grandpa. He's hungry and his strength will help you escape. Don't let a single victim escape. After all, we win as a family or we lose as a family. That was a lot of reading for me. Jesus. You've been caught by the slaughter fam— 2 whole decades. Seriously. Thanks, babe. How are you doing? 2 years. That's crazy. Sorry, I have like sand and sunscreen all over me. I was literally at the beach earlier. Let's go to the beach each. I had a lovely time. I don't know if I got any sun, maybe some freckles, but I laid in the sun and watched the WWE pay-per-view. It was lovely. He deserves it. I'm Team Grandpa. My mom got like these cute cups for coffee, but the top doesn't stay on. I've heard that one before. You've been captured by the Slaughter family, tied up, tortured, left for dead. You must do whatever it takes to escape the family's property at all costs. Do you start the game like that? I love that top. Find your friends, hunt for your life-saving items and tools, bone scraps and health, but most importantly, locate and open the escape routes before it's too late. The family is hunting, so move quietly in the right directions. Your life depends on it. Stay quiet and hidden and move slowly and carefully to avoid the excessive noises. Oh, can you really crawl through there? Use shadows and tall foliage to stay hidden. Take cover behind tall objects and break line of sight. That's crazy. I don't know how useful that's going to be because I probably won't use it because I'm terrible at sneaking, but it's fine. Wall gaps, crawl spaces, and unique hiding spots like freezers, armoires, and even vehicle trucks can be used to avoid the family. Use them. Oh, I didn't even see him hiding there. Watch out for objects that make noise. Moving too fast through the environment can spell disaster. Oh, it's like Outlast. Outlast has a thing like that. Like the things that hang from the ceiling. Even moving too fast through doors can give away your location, so stay calm and move quietly. This seems like very killer-sided. Find useful items. Tools can be used to break locks on doors. Health can heal you, with bone scraps can be used to sneak attack and even confront the family directly. Oh my god. These items can mean a difference between life and death. Did he just stab him? You can only carry 2 items at once, so choose wisely and try to plan ahead. Unlock exits. The heavy metal doors almost always lead out of the basement. Find and open them. Once upstairs, keep moving if possible. There are multiple escape routes located from the outer edges of the property, so find a way to open them. This is a lot of info for the survivors. I feel like literally the killer is just like, let me hunt you, and then the survivors are like, math equations, calculus. Like, oh my gosh. Some escape objectives, like the fuse box and water valves, require specific items to activate them. These items can be found scattered around the property. Be on the lookout. Oh wait, shit. I wasn't reading. Escape the family. Having trouble finding the escape option? When in doubt, head towards the main road or the rear gate. Those are usually the easiest options if you can get there. I know. Let me solve for X, Y, and Z pi equation. Like, Jesus. The water valve gate and basement doors are always available options. You can find the necessary parts to activate them. The basement doors require you to find and repair the fuse box, while the water valve gate needs the pressure valve handle to open. Once fixed, the escapes will open and you should okay. Use your abilities to stay alive. Use at the right time. It can make a difference between life and death. Did she just like crawl through it? Be careful though. Star sign abilities have a cooldown and will prevent you to overeat. Okay. Remember, you have been captured, beaten, and tortured, so injuries are severe. You need to escape before you succumb to your wounds. As the match continues, you will start to bleed out more and more. Be wary of leaving blood trails behind. Oh, well, that's not great. Health items can slow this project, but they can't stop it. Escape is the only option. So we're bleeding the whole time. Find fellow victims and work together is recommended but not required. Grouping with teammates has multiple advantages, but the total of noise increases. Choose your strategy wisely. Will you survive or will you be left with them? That's a lot of info, girl. I mean, it's no tea. So it says technical test ends at midnight. So they mean tonight or tomorrow? When is midnight, May 28th? Like tomorrow? I'm not good with days and times. Why is there no option for settings? I find that very bizarre. Oh, we just dive right in. There's no perks, there's no anything. Damn. I think that's midnight tonight. What? That's not fair. I just got my key. And there's my car keys. Oh. What the? I'm playing Anna. I get to play a girl boss. Individualize your characters a bit. What? How do I do that? Oh, I don't like that it's like in here. Let's not do that. Why is the settings in here? Why can't I do it on the main menu? I mean, I guess. So I guess we can't do our abilities right now. Okay, you've got the look. You've got the look! I guess you get a random character. Oh, we don't have any of this stuff, so like, does it even matter? Honestly, no. Am I the only one that's not ready yet? There's microphone options. Oh, that's not... off. Perfect. What is that under my name? There are so many. I literally have. I'm going in completely like I've never seen what's happening. Like, no, I haven't seen anybody play. I've only seen like little clippy clips. Demi Lovato just released Cool for the Summer rock version for the summer. Bye. Everything. I'm dead. What an icon. Cool for the summer. Yeah! It felt like summer today. It's gonna be, it was 75 today and tomorrow it's gonna be 80, which I'm like so for. Like, I'm gonna wear this for the weekend. Literally. Well, Bev, I don't know if Marshy told you this, but I literally told him straight up. I went, Marshy, are you gonna pay for your ticket to like the parks? Because he doesn't do rides from what I understand. And I was like, so you're gonna pay for your ticket, right? Because if I pay for the ticket, bitch, you're going on the roller coasters. You're going on the uppy downy things of the like Tower of Terror kind of things that go up and down like that. I was like, I'll buy your plane ticket, but if you're not gonna go on the rides at the park. Oh, I'm not readied up. I'm so sorry. That was awkward.
The search continues in Muerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The sheriff's department, Maria Flores.
I mean, I love the, like, I used to love the theatrics of the amusement park, so, like, I'm down with that. But, like, considering it's, like, $200 for one park, $200 for another park, like, $500 plane tickets, I'm like, oh my god. Like, I obviously have the money. If anyone wants to give me more, that would be lovely, but it's a lot. I'm like, Jesus. It's like Disney. Oh, okay. Wait, her beat was everything. I love that top. I love the eyeshadow. Everything. Okay, I'm literally gonna die first. Like, I'm dead boots. Oh, we're playing. Oh. Oh, I've already alerted the killer. The killer! I don't even know the controls, so... I hear a chainsaw. I don't even know what to do. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. Aw, man. Wait, what the hell? That's not fair. Ah, what the fuck? Oh. Girl, get up! I've awoken Grandpa, apparently. I'm just going right back into the basement. Oh my god! Oh my god. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I don't.
What is this?
Girl. Is there like an oxygen issue in there? How do I use the health item?
You can do this. Think. This looks like some kind of lockpick. Thank God.
Literally have no idea what I'm doing.
Is this human? Don't even think about it, Anna. Just stay calm.
Well, first time tuning in. Hi, Rose. Thanks for the follow.
Madre de Dios. Please.
Oh.
Protect us.
Okay, Spanish Queen.
Please. There's gotta be something I can use around here.
Nails falling off. I'm trying to like get better at wearing nails every day. I think I'm just gonna like... There is like an oxygen issue when you hide. Oh, I see it on the heart. Hold on, I'm putting on a nail. Can you please? Girl, deep breaths. This nail won't stay on. The controller vibrates a lot. Oh, Grandpa just marked me.
Think. What do I do? What do I do?
Oh, fuck me. Oh, not both of them. Oh my god! Girl, you're running for your life. I don't know what you want. Hi, Ava. I did pretty okay. For the first game, I made it out of the basement. I didn't really know the map. It's no tea. It's no tea. It is, but you can't, because this is the beta, this is the play test. You can't queue with other people. You can't queue with other people. You can't pick your character, and you can't like customize your perks or character. It's like literally just testing the base game. I think it ends tonight at midnight or tomorrow. Hopefully they add... Oh, I feel so bad for her. Run, girl. I'm cheering for Miss Connie. Connie TPH. Come on, Connie. Is it coming for DVD's gig? I don't know. They're very different in my opinion. This is very stealth-based Friday the 13th kind of vibes. You can kind of fight back to the killer a little bit. Oh, she's good. She's good. She's good. Oh, he's gonna come back though, girl. Oh no, she's good. So we have an extra day. Oh, so midnight the 28th means tomorrow, right? Hi, Goosey. I saw you streaming this morning. I like fell asleep with it on TikTok on my phone while I was like taking a nap. I woke up this morning at 7 and then I took a nap until like 12. I hope. Yeah, I don't know either. Either way, it's no tea. Like, I'm just glad I get to play it a little bit. It is coming out in August, so it's not that far away. We have other games to tide us over until then. Like, hopefully Outlast Trials, we'll have more trials come out. We have... I had a white scrunchie too when I couldn't find it. Makes me upset. It would have been perfect. Outlast Trials, we have... Excuse me. I have a radar list. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting right now.
Locked. Damn it.
Is she the sole survivor? Oh, she's the... Oh, no, we got him. Oh! That's so annoying. Goose, you should get Outlast Trials so we can play it together. I know you're talking about playing Redfall, but I'm really addicted to Outlast Trials, honestly. Oh, not right into... Oh, he's getting cooked! Oh... A bootcut jean. Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a flared pants. I like TikTok Live. That must be nice. How's it like not? How is it like not being trans and being slurred at every moment you do anything on that app? I can't use that app too much. They come from my throat just for being trans. It's exhausting.
I have to find the others.
Yeah, it's how the app is structured. I'm surprised they don't have any more security. Like, I wish they would have more security, like, you have to be following to drop a hateful comment. It's like, I would like that. If you're gonna be nasty to me, at least drop me a follow and get my numbers up, you know? Instagram has it. I'm not sure why TikTok doesn't and hop on that trend, honestly. Guys, it is such a nice day out. I laid out in the sun. I had a good time. Like, I'm having a good day today. I think I'm gonna order dinner, even though I don't have a lot of money to my name, but like, it's no tea. Like, just keep the good, just whatever makes me happy. Keep the good vibes coming. Thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of my members of my community come from TikTok, but I can't stay on TikTok. I just post the clips and move on, just because like there's a lot of not nice people to trans people on that app. Oh, this poor girl. Oh, is she holding her breath? I think she's holding her breath.
Why are they doing this to us?
It does look like a redheaded Maddie. I do like the concept. I'm not sure. It does seem like, I thought, so first game review, I thought this game was going to be very killer sided, but a lot of the maps are like tiny crevices that you can hide under, so it makes it so they can't completely run you down, from what I understand, which is nice. Because that's like, I literally thought this game was going to be a cakewalk for the killers. Oh, she's running into the... Oh no. Run fast for your mother and fast for your father. Sorry, girl. I'm gonna go to another game. Thanks, Gabe. Oh no. I want to try another victim game after that. Hello. Hi, BCB. Yes, I'm so excited Asuka and Seth are champions. I am really upset that Bianca had to drop her title and we still have to deal with Rhea. That match was so atrocious to Natty on her birthday. She lost in 1 minute on her birthday, flew 20 hours to lose a 1 minute match. Don't even get me started. You guys can stream the podcast when we talk about it. Triple Threat on Spotify and YouTube. But yeah, very happy that Asuka's a champion and Seth is a champion, but sad that Bianca had to lose. I am happy AJ lost. I really cannot get behind AJ Styles fans. Like, I really cannot. I almost said AJ Lee, but I really cannot get behind AJ Styles fans. If he would have won, I would have lost my mind. I'm also surprised he made it to the finals. Like, ugh. Outlast Trials. It's really fun. I'm really addicted to grinding it right now. No shit, it should have been an actual match. I was like, seriously? So disrespectful. Makes me really upset.
Continues in Muerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The sheriff's department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that she lost her title. I mean, the crowd is never with her nowadays. Like, I'm with Bianca, but like the crowd is never with her anymore, which makes me sad. So it was like, I think after Backlash 2 and how like the crowd was so with EO, they were like, okay, we're gonna have to drop it and give it to somebody else. Hi, Alicia. Yeah, I just got it today.
Connie.
Can you get rid of the thing on the bottom of the page that says this is a tech test, or no?
It hurts. I have to get out of here. Where am I? Oh, a shortcut.
I just started, so this is our second match. I died pretty early in the first match.
I should see what that is.
I respect your opinion, but also like,
Thank you. I might be able to break those locks now.
I just don't think it's fair to say stuff like that over Natty when a lot of the men are kind of in the same boat. Like, they're veterans.
Can I get through there?
Oh! Well, that isn't fair. He was waiting for me at the door. Oh my god! This Bubba's so good at the game! Well... yeah, I just don't think it's fair to put Natty in that box when a lot of other veterans that are just kind of there are like... You know... I don't know, like, how are you gonna... I just don't understand. Like, I don't like Natty either, and like whatever. Like, Zane on the podcast is like the DA to that too, but like, how are you gonna say that in the same token about Natty, and then you won't say stuff like it's just quiet for all the men in the locker room that have been around and they're just kind of there? Like, I also think we need Natty and Tamina because we don't have a lot of veterans in the women's locker room to help elevate and give a legacy. Because all of the legends, well, they are legends, like, they just come back for a second and then leave. But Natty and Tamina are the only ones from 16 years ago that still are in the division. So it's like, let's not take it for granted. Let's not be too disrespectful. I don't understand the waking up grandpa thing. I don't. Like, why does it flash on my screen and, like, take me out of the gameplay? I don't understand that. Oh, I guess we'll go to another match. I just died so fast, and I was, like, playing right. That Bubba was crazy strong. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, literally. I mean, also, like, I understand that WWE probably doesn't know how to book Natty or Tamina right now, but on her birthday and making her fly 20 hours to lose in a 1-minute match, like, they should have given her at least 5 or 10. Like, that is so insane to me. That's like just being a normal person. I wouldn't walk up to your birthday party with a gun and shoot you in the fucking face. Like, what? Like, hello? And if you're being chased, you're What's SOL? What does SOL mean? She was, yeah, it was her and Shit Out of Luck. Oh. They could have done it with any other girl though too. They could have just done a squash match with like Xia Li or like Emma or something. Like no shade. But, like Natty, someone that's been in the industry for 16 years? Like what? And like hyping the match kind of. Like I was excited for it. It's like I know Natty has like good shit. Like she has good moves. Can you bring home some grub or get some grub? Because I'm going to be helping you, question mark. Early predictions on who early Money in the Bank winners will be. I don't know. It's hard because like all of the potential winners besides Io Sky are injured. I thought Dakota could have won it. I thought not Liv, but I thought Liv would be great in the match. I don't think Becky's gonna win it because like Becky's in a storyline right now. I don't even think Io will win it if I'm honest. I would love to see Io win it, but like I don't think Io's gonna win it. Like I think they're gonna throw a curveball. I hope Chelsea Green wins it, and I hope she cashes it in. And if it's gonna be someone that's gonna lose, because I feel like this is gonna be the year, like fully clip this, remember this, bookmark me, remember the day. I think this will be the year the Money in the Bank winner will not get the title. I think this will be the first year we'll have our failed women's Money in the Bank winner. Like I fully believe that in my heart of hearts. And I think the winner of the match will be Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, or another heel right now. Maybe even Bailey again, for Christ's sake. Just anybody that is a heel. And I think they will lose it. We'll be so excited that somebody will win it and then they're gonna lose it. I know, we need a longer reign. We need a longer than 2-hour reign, same night cash in. The last 5 winners have cashed in the same night. It's kind of ridiculous. And also, I think this year is hard to book because last year was so strong with Liv's cash in. Like, anything that's going to come out of Money in the Bank this year is going to be the weakest compared to last year's Liv's incredible cash in. Like, probably, I'm not even being dramatic, probably the best cash in we've had over the years besides Carmella. So it's gonna be hard to top it. Oh yeah, fully same. I was at. I could see one thing happening, and if it's Rhea losing her belt because they're gonna actually listen to us online, because it seems like they listen to us online about Asuka winning the belt. Hulu, thank you for your Prime sub. I think possibly Rhea could lose it to a briefcase cash in, but that's just my tea. Maybe Bianca will win it and cash in on Rhea, and then that'll happen. We can only hope. Oh my god, I thought Liv was gonna be our first failed cash in, like Boots. I was so scared for her. That was like literally the scariest moment of my entire life. I was like, girl, don't do this. Ooh, Zoe Stark might win Money in the Bank. Ooh, wait a second. Not my favorite pick, but I see it happening.
The sheriff's department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered.
I would love to see her as a heel again.
Reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are
She's probably gonna have some time off, honestly. Well, I don't know.
will unearth new leads.
Everybody loves her so bad. Taking her out would be so weird right now.
Information regarding her disappearance.
Oh shit.
Please come forward.
Right here. Connie, over here. What? Where am I?
Then I loved your pod episode dedicated to Ashley. Literally made me tear up looking back at all of her moments. Truly my fave. Thank you. It honestly was so fun to film. Like we seriously love Ashley with all our hearts. Like it's not.
Thank you, God. I think I lost them.
I know. Did you love the looks? Oh. Why is he opening the exit? I loved how we structured that podcast because for me, we always write an outline. Well, I started a couple podcasts ago, started writing outlines for every episode, and thankfully, Marshall wrote the outline for the recent episode because I was sleeping all day because I started taking hormones, so like I'm so exhausted. So shout out to Marshall, but also like. Oh, that's not. I loved how it was structured. Like, I would love to do it with people that used to be in the division. Like, we really want to do a Jillian Hall one, which would be cute. Fuck me in the ass. Not me being first dead again, please. Have some class. Stop, I'm dead. Oh, I wasn't even healing. Whatever. It's all a learning curve. It's all a learning experience. Have I died 3 times first in every single game I've been in? Yes, I have. Hi, Chano. But yeah, so all of our episode structures have an outline. We usually start at the top, we chat, and then we go into the outline. And I love how it's structured. Honestly, the podcast is like my labor of love this year. I remember a couple years ago, it was to do the award shows. The year after that, it was to do Bargain Bin Horror Games, which was a cute little YouTube miniseries. And then this year, it's been the podcast. And I actually like really love the podcast. I love catching up because me, Zane, and Onyx, we love each other, we talk each other, we text every so often, but I wouldn't say until we started doing the podcast that we talked as frequently as we do now, because we were kind of all doing our own thing, we were doing whatever, but it's a good way to catch up and then also make our art together, make something dedicated with each other, because we do like we've been a unit for a while. We used to have a drag house. We would go out and drag together as like the trio. We'd go as the Gotham girls. We would do the wrestling girls. So I love immortalizing our legacy together because I love those two and they're like literally my family to me. Like when I got kicked out of the house when I was 18 years old, I was staying with Onyx and Zane, hopping couch to couch with them, and they like saved me from one of the scariest moments of my life. So I love those two a lot, and it's just a good time, our podcast. So if you haven't listened to it and you're not a viewer of our podcast, I would suggest it. It's a fun time. Why am I upside down? Gotta hang him by the bell bottoms. Let's see how this person plays.
Oh my God. What are they doing to me?
Is this a way out?
Did he already kill someone? Hello? What the hell? Why me every time? Looks around. Hello? You know what? Actually, they're probably stream sniping me. Wait, people could be stream sniping me. That might be it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really understand what to do. Like, you have to get out of the basement, but like, how? That wasn't even fair.
I've got to find my friends.
I also don't really understand how to, like, I don't understand a lot, if I'm honest. So there's that. Is this the fuse box? Nope. This is where we started. Oh, someone's being executed. Wait, she got upstairs? I thought it tells you if someone gets upstairs. Okay, guys, monumental.
See where this leads.
This is where we started. What the hell? This is how I would be in a horror movie. I would just get lost.
Just keep your head clear. Eyes open. You can do this.
Okay, no shade. Like, the characters, like, need to stop talking. In my opinion. I'm just like, I'm trying to be quiet. Someone heard me? What? How? I was quiet as a mouse. Oh, that's like oh, okay, I see. So when the detection happens, you're supposed to freeze. Everybody freeze! Gotcha. Didn't get that. Now I understand. Is everybody upstairs? Or am I crazy?
That might help. I'm ready.
All right. There's no way to check the status of your friends. I thought it told you when they got upstairs. Am I crazy?
I need to stay strong. Gotta find the others.
Girl, we can't find the others. Like, we're lost. I'm gonna be the sole survivor because I'm just sitting down here the entire game. Because I can't find the fucking exit. Thrilling gameplay. What is that? Oh my god, it's my green screen. I'm like, why is something blocking my... I don't either. I'm about to just say fuck it and like run around like an idiot.
When I get out of here. No. When we get out of here.
Girl, 2 of your friends are already dead. Okay, well, at least I have the stealth down. I didn't mean to run. Chill. Not an exit. Are you sure? Is there... Developers, if you're watching this, can you make an easier way to show me where to go as a casual player? Like, what is happening? I don't know where to go. I'm walking around the same parking lot. Like, I'm literally lost. Hey, girl. I don't even deserve this. I'm stuck. Girl, y'all can come get me. You can pick me up. Oh, guys, I found it. Don't worry, you guys. I finally... At the end of the game, I finally found the exit. Oh, there's nowhere to hide. Okay. Fuck. She's a runner, she's a track star. But you can't climb up stuff like that. Oh. Hey man, you don't have to do this. It's no tea. It's no tea. It's no tea. Ah! How do you fight back? I've seen clips of people fighting back. Oh, my headphones popped out. I want to fight back. That's a cute reference. I love that. I got an okay score. I got a high score for like just being an idiot. I didn't deserve all that. So I guess there's multiple exits to the basement. Getting out of the basement is the hardest part, in my opinion. I'm like, girl. Why? I want to play as the redheaded girl. Why is my desk so warm? I mean, I guess this game is playing ultra graphics. No, literally, I am that, like, ditzy girl in the horror movie. I don't know what I'm doing. Is that person's name Butt Cheeks TTV? Work. My sister needed help with something at 6:30, but she hasn't texted me back, so it's no tea. Need something to do with my hands. I'm bored. These waiting rooms. I need like one of those push games. Just play with this fan, I guess. How does voice chat work in this game?
The search continues in Muerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The Sheriff's Department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the expanded search into the nearby communities of Harlow and Chinatown will unearth new leads. Family and friends are urging anyone with information regarding her disappearance to please come forward. The scheduled draining of the Colton Reservoir was put on hold when city workers discovered the remains of more than a dozen animal corpses. The bodies are reported as being in various states of mutilation. Authorities believe the carcasses are from packs of wandering ones.
Is the red just like a sensor, or does it actually alert the killer? I have so many questions that can't be answered by anybody in my chat right now because nobody's played this game. Like, what? Oh, hi. I'm trying. I mean,
Just keep your head clear.
I've been the...
You can do this.
I've been dead first like every game.
Clear for now. I should move.
Yeah, from the first movie. I believe the game's heavily inspired by the first movie.
Don't squeak.
Not the survivors, though, I don't think.
Somewhere.
Oh!
Why the hell did we end up here? I should grab that.
Yeah, there's several killers. Sorry, I'm like trying to do my best because I'm sucking at every game.
Stay sharp. Make
I haven't decided Huda if it's any good. It's really hard. But like, that's just because it's new, so it's like... I guess that's why there's a difficulty spike. 'Cause I have no idea what's happening. Oh, that's not fair. I'm going through something. Very much a learning curve. Hi, Ryan.
I need to stay strong. Gotta find the others.
Well...
Are they really gone?
Oh! Well, that was aggressive.
Keep it together, man.
I'm last one standing.
Gotta keep out of sight. Gotta keep moving.
What the? Girl, I'm dead. Oh, he hit me down the well, but I was like dying. So I had to recover. Not my smartest move of jumping down the well. Fuck.
I think this will help. I gotta watch out.
Oh shit. Oh, there's Grandpa.
I think I lost him.
You think you lost them? Girl, please. They're right there. Oh, you can die like that? That's crazy. Okay, not bad. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Okay, so initial thoughts. Obviously, very hard. This game is super fucking hard to like sneak, do any, like literally like, I feel like this will be so much easier when you're queued with people. Like, and I know that's like kind of OP sometimes in Dead by Daylight and like used to be on Friday the 13th, but like, I feel like for this game, you genuinely need to play with somebody, like at least one other person. Because like, I have no idea what's going on. I want to at least like have my good friend help me or something and like fuck around. I don't know. It's so difficult. So I don't know. That's just my initial thoughts. But like, it's a learning curve. Like you learn it, you do whatever. That's just my initial thoughts. I would say it's a good game. I would say there needs to be some tweaking. Like I see, sometimes I'll see some like glitchy things, but it is a beta, so. Well, I think it's set in that time period. Yeah, the 70s and 80s. I forgot. Yeah, it's really hard though. This game is super hard. You were doing everything I've seen every new player do, if that helps. Perfect. What is that? It's like the light outside that's like reflecting on my hair. Hi, River. Thank you. Oh, I'm not ready to. There have been some that I'm like, damn, you were a really good killer, so. But like, I think the regular guys, like the family, have just been like not doing the best. But like when you're Bubba, I think you have more leeway to kind of not know what you're doing. I feel like the family takes a little more skill because like they're not as strong as Bubba. But, like, I've seen all these people with like these strategic clips and like how they're killing, like fighting back and like doing everything. I'm like, how? Like, it stresses me out. Like when I get chased down. This game is not out yet. This is the technical test, so it will be launching in August. You can get it on Steam PC. I'm unsure of what consoles it'll be on, but considering it's controller compatible, I would say Xbox and hopefully PS. I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I really want pizza. I think I'm gonna see if I can convince my sister to get us pizza. But my bones have been like super achy lately. Like I got blood drawn like a week or two ago and my arms are starting to bruise and like pain from that still. And that's the only like thing I could really think of is because I have the bruises right where I got the blood drawn. So I'm like, I don't understand why my skin is bruising and hurting now. Like it's been a week, but whatever. A week or two. I don't think I'll ever be able to escape. Like, escaping in this game is hard. But that's the thing, like, Dead by Daylight escaping is hard as well. Well, not as hard as this, I would say. This is definitely harder. But, like, you're not supposed to escape every game. They did not draw your blood correctly. What does that entail? Like, am I gonna be okay? I was also dehydrated when I got my blood drawn, so that's probably what has to do with it. Struggling. I wish there was a little bit of progression in this beta. It's like, I want to do something in this beta, you know what I mean? There's like no progression right now. Just you play a game, you go again. I can't. I stab Grandpa? That cutscene is so long, what? No! Jesus. Well, at least I took them away from everybody. I feel like hiding in the bushes doesn't work, and they need to make that better. Because the characters are so large. Just make the bushes larger. Like, this one looks okay. I guess there are multiple ways to escape, but I'm not sure entirely. House, this game is so hard.
I know what this is.
Like, genuinely so hard. I think this and the last game were the closest to escape I've gotten, but that wasn't even close to escaping. Like, this one I went to the gate, but that wasn't... Like, it got electrocuted or whatever. But then the game before that, I was the last one to survive. And like, I was really stealthy. It's really hard. I don't know what to say, Boots. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. Just being my good oomph is just enough. That's what I thought too. How do they... So they just go back into the house and turn on the fence, or is it automatically on?
I'm good. I'm good. Just stay calm.
Oh, it looks like she's doing the other way to escape. Oh no! Oh, Connie's done. Oh, I think everybody's done for. This is Mia Goth Boots. This character is fully modeled over Mia Goth, except for Latina. She's Latina Mia Goth. I don't know, every character has a unique skill, but I haven't been able to figure out what that is yet. So Sunny has the worst perk. Yeah, well, the last couple games I've been stuck as Sunny, so Are we liking it? It's alright. It's just really hard. Are they not gonna add being able to play with other people? Because I feel like it would do a disservice, but also like I want to play with my friends. Like, is this how the game is gonna go when it comes out? Or is it just because it's a tech test? And also, like, am I not gonna be able to choose my character when the game comes out? Like, what is the tea? Like, I want to know that intricacies. See, now we have someone in the chat that knows the game and what's going on. Because, no, like, literally, this is my first time doing anything in this game. I wonder why they didn't let us do that in this. Yeah, we can't do anything. The cosmetics are over here, but we can't use them. It looks like recolors right now, but it also looks like we'll get more, because, like, look at, he has shorts and then he has a long sleeve. Oh, that's not a long sleeve, it just looks like it was a long sleeve.
The search continues in Muerto County for a missing University of Texas student.
Hey, Shogun.
The sheriff's department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. The vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, which officials report.
Well, hopefully it gets better when the game fully releases with cosmetics. But I don't think they can do crazy stuff like DBD, because it would affect your visibility of being seen by the killer. And also it's set in the 70s, they can't go like crazy with it. Fuck. My bad, you guys. My bad.
This looks promising. Yes, I can use that.
So the red, when it turns red, it's a warning, right? It's not you've alerted. It's when you actually hit it, you're fucked. I can already see the perks now. Make it so you can tap the X button for more than 2 seconds without making a lot of noise.
Disgusting.
I will say I understand this, but it's like,
What is wrong with these people?
not sure I'm thrilled at that concept. Also, how do you run while crouched? I saw someone do it. Don't run. Oh, I got it.
I don't see him.
Fuck. I'm not here. Oh, girl. Oh, someone unlocked. Ah! He can shut them? Oh my god, it broke! You learn every game, I guess. Oh my god. Okay. Hi, puppet. Okay. Oh, this is a loss. Oh my god, I can't believe they can shut the doors. That's crazy. Oh my god, this game is hard. So now they're down here and we can't get upstairs. I think people have already escaped, if I'm honest.
It's too quiet. Much too quiet. This'll help.
It's him. It's his fault, not me. Take him, not me. Take him, not me. Oh, punched him in the dick. Oh my god. Let me jump out one of these windows. Ah! Jesus. Oh, those other people definitely escaped. Wait, would it tell you if they escaped?
Oh, what's this?
Why did somebody disconnect? Was that one of the killers?
Where is everybody? This is all.
Give me a minute, you guys. I know. Well, it's because we're playing perkless too, like basement exit. Like to leave the game. See, like, I don't know the maps yet, so I'm like, where would this even be? Like, I've never seen an exit. It's probably already shot anyways, so it's like, well... Oh my god.
Shake it off. Come on.
Why is this even an option out here? Why would you ever come to the... Hello? Okay. Hi, Passion. This is hard. I wish there was like a custom mode so I could explore the map and figure out what I'm doing. Or like even a practice. I mean, I am practicing with these games, but I'm like, oh my god, I'm so bad. I might play a game of Killer just to figure out and like look around, figure shit out. Honestly, yeah, let me do that. You have to be in the mind of the killer to escape the killer. Yeah. No, it's true, it's true. No, it's true. I'm Bubba. Oh, wow. Hey, guys. When they make a Ma killer game, we won. Thanks, Passions. I didn't think I was gonna get in drags today, but it's okay. Well, I don't even know what you would call this. I just call it glam. I did a different eye. I did like the smoky waterline of like, I don't know, like it's just so like sexy and sultry when you put black in the waterline. It's just like so good. Like I like doing the white waterline to make my eyes larger, but sometimes it's good to just make them like, you know, like if I'm feeling sultry and sexy, I'll do black in the waterline, which is very rarely. But if I want to look like what I usually do white in the waterline. But I don't know, this is kind of hot. Because like white makes your eyes larger on the waterline and then black makes your eyes smaller in the waterline. Need to drink some water. Water. If it, words? Yeah, are we gonna be able to play her? Who is she? Are there more than just these four? Work. Yeah, she looks hot. I would either play Connie or her. Or if they have cosmetics for... What's the other girl's name? I don't even know their names. Hopefully my boob isn't showing. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Thank you, Batty.
The search continues in Huerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The Sheriff's Department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. The vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the
I forgot we have to feed him blood. Blood. Blood! I'm playing Bubba, so I have a lot on my shoulders. Not her dying at the start of every game. Poor girl. Oh. Oh, okay, wow. I think they do it in the movie. He's like literally like a dead corpse and they just like feed him blood. In this he has like superpowers, which is not real, but Yeah, they're cannibals. Well, that's why he's called the cannibal on DVD, silly. I don't like that cutscene. I think they need to work on that. It's very distracting to the gameplay. Oh, okay. I don't know. I think it could just be something over the screen. It's very distracting. Literally, a banner could be just fine. I agree. It like stops the gameplay too for everybody, not just the survivor or killers. It's very weird. I don't know why they did that. And I don't know what I'm doing, but it's okay. Oh, they got out. I locked myself in, you guys. The way I'm the killer and I can't even get upstairs. Oh, hi. You should not get alerted for your family's noises. Who says propagate in Genshin? Propagate. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. Is it? That's a big word for Nahida. I don't think it is. Is it Kokomi? Get out of my way, bitch. That's the first time I've seen someone escape all day. I mean, rightfully so. I have no idea what I'm doing. Because I'm Bubba, the strongest out of the three, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so they kind of got an easy escape. Guys, I'm a survivor too. I'm just dressed up in a nice costume right now. Are you guys teabagging? Is this how you escape?
Now to go home and have the rest of that pasta.
Not already toxic survivors. We're like just starting the game. No class. Thanks, Harley. That was so classless. It's not even like I was toxic either. Imagine they come into my stream. Chi-Chi's. No, you weren't nice. Why is he the worst? This is the worst. Girl, please, I really want a Domino's pizza. Help me. I will literally pay. We just need to go get it. Because they don't fucking deliver. Please. Please, please, please. No, they don't deliver to my town for some reason. I'm like, why? You guys are right across. It's not that serious. I'm like, why? Oh, I forgot to ready up again. Sorry.
County for a missing University of Texas student. The Sheriff's Department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the expanded search into the nearby communities of Harlow and Chinatown will unearth new leads. Family and friends are urging anyone with information regarding her
So both sides are hard to play. That's great.
Cattle mutilations continue to plague the quiet farming communities of Central Texas, as two
This game is like
reported just last evening.
so advanced for no reason. I'm like, how do I play? I'm an idiot player. I don't know what I'm doing. It was like a video tutorial. You don't get to play. I mean, I guess. I just like, I'm finding it difficult to pick up anything.
Did they get loose on us? Oh, dang it. Should have strung them up better.
So this guy has the traps, doesn't he? He has the bear traps.
The best there ever was. They'll never see this. It always works.
And how do you, where is that? How do you identify the generator? Because like me, I don't know. You were just at it. Where? Oh. It is not big and red. It is small and crimson.
Quiet.
blends in. Oh, hey, ugly. Can you go do your job? Okay. I guess, whatever. So I have to go to the father, or the geezer, and feed him the blood? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's no tea. Yeah, I don't know how to say this nicely, but that jump cut needs to be retired. Someone's already outside. Hey, Grandpa.
They'll die better if y'all hurry up and help.
Here you go, yummy, yummy, yummy. Grandpa's been fed. You better eat, Grandpa.
Somebody around here has to catch him.
So no one's downstairs? We gotta get him, you guys. I would rather not do that. I'd rather suffer the consequences. Who was that? What is that noise?
Whoa, I'm sick of eating scraps. Gotta find them.
I get lost so easily. It's crazy. Grandpa's not hungry. Bitch, eat up! I don't care if you're not hungry. Open up, Grandpa! Now why are we making a racket? Why are we making all that noise? Pressure gate exit has been opened? Literally, what does that mean? Girl! She got so... I knew that was coming. Grandpa's in danger. You can kill Grandpa? Hello? She has so much health. Hello? Why do I... But when I play killer, when I play survivor, I die in 2 hits. Hello?
I slice real clean, don't I?
She had so many hits on her. What the hell? But when I played her, I died in a minute. Why is Grandpa in danger? What's the tea?
You're looking downright spry. Back and killing for it.
Why are we causing a ruckus? Well, this looks like the pressure gate. I put a trap right here. Am I gonna step on it? Okay. Is this not the pressure gate?
No, Grandpa thinks I'm the best. The best. Grandma was better than my two dang brothers.
Oh, hey.
You better get out or you'll get it worse.
I hate this guy. He just ran me in the wrong direction. What? What is this? Okay. Oh. I'm gonna go get blood because we need to figure out where this guy is. What is this place? I literally can get lost. Like, I'm the killer and I'm getting lost. Like, what is happening? See, like, basement exit opened. Like, what does that even mean? Obviously, it means it's in the basement, but, like, I still don't understand. Okay. This doesn't even go to the basement. I can't. Okay. I'm unlocking all these doors. I don't give a fuck. It's not like we're doing anything anyway. Lumen DRCB.
Well, someone's
You watch All Stars? Like the episode that just released a couple days ago? Yeah. It's an okay season. I think I prefer... I think I prefer this cast over the All Stars 5 cast. All Stars 5 was kind of not great. Well, I don't know. Juju and Shay and... I don't know. Well, that person just disconnected, so... Why would you ever need to sneak as... Okay.
Please take it. I'm all out.
I want to let everybody know that I killed somebody. I did this game. I killed somebody. Oh,
This blood. They got trouble now.
what just happened? Ow. Well, I helped. I think we can chop this up to saying this game is really hard. If I haven't said that enough times in this stream. Both sides are extremely difficult to master. I don't even know what to do. And like, I wish these tutorials were in-game. Like, I want to learn more of the intricacies. Like, I feel like in this tutorial for the survivors, it should show where the exits are, what the exits look like, and what the objectives look like. They kind of do, but like, I don't even know what the pipe looks like, the valve, the generator. Like, I can never find it. I wish there was more of an indication. It is so hard to find what to do in this. As a casual player like me, I guess I'll learn it, but like, it's so difficult. I really want pizza. I'm in like a beach day kind of vibe because I spent the whole day at the beach. I'm like, this sounds really good. But you could take something away from this pizza. Sorry guys, again, I'm not ready.
The search continues in Huerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The Sheriff's Department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the expanded search into the nearby communities of Harlow and Chinatown will unearth new leads. Family and friends are urging anyone with information regarding her disappearance to please come forward. 3 adolescent vandals have been terrorizing the city of Lexington, Texas, with horrific depictions of famine and the macabre. Nearby active officers may involve remote Odessa sheriffs investigating evidence authorities locally intercepted years ago. The grotesque animal dioramas composed of fox bones.
Oh my god. What are they doing to me? I wonder where this goes.
That's what you get. Honestly, he got what he deserved. Hey, Maddie.
Please. Okay, Anna. You can do this. Did they really leave? I don't know about this.
Thank you so much for your subscription. My beach day, I enjoyed it. I laid in the sun all day. I really want to get a pizza now and like some fries and just like call it. Cause like, I'm like in that beach mood. Like, order a pizza. Thank you. I feel very pretty. How are you feeling about this game so far? It is so ungodly hard for me to survive.
Finally, they left. I need to find the others. What is this?
I think it's fun, but like, it is so hard. I think it'd be funner with friends.
Looks like some. I should see what that is.
That's my bad. Fuck. No. Dang it. I was doing really well. And one wrong move, it's over. I guess that's the nature of the beast. I would really like a pizza. But I don't know where to order from. Oh. I think I'm cool for now. I think I've had my share. But very fun so far. I think it'll be better when the game comes out with multiplayer and more cosmetics and stuff. Just like super hard to learn, super hard to play by myself. So I'm excited for when the full release happens. But overall, I would say pretty solid, honestly. It's pretty solid. It's definitely not for beginners, I'll tell you that. Definitely not. I'm gonna take a BRB and figure out dinner, and we'll hop on to Mortal Kombat to continue the story. But I'll be right back.